The popular 10,000-hour rule claims that roughly 10,000 hours of practice transforms anyone into a world-class expert in any domain. The research the claim is based on actually says something far more specific and more interesting. It is not merely the number of hours that matters, but a very particular, effortful, feedback-driven type of practice, deliberate practice, that separates genuine experts from people who have simply spent a lot of time in a domain without improving. Anders Ericsson's research on expertise, which the popularized 10,000-hour rule is loosely based on, defines deliberate practice as a highly specific form of practice, effortful, structured activity specifically designed to improve a well-defined aspect of performance just beyond one's current ability level, accompanied by immediate, informative feedback and repeated with sufficient repetition to allow refinement. This is distinctly different from mere repetition or engagement in a domain. A person who has played casual tennis for 20 years without structured feedback or deliberate skill targeting will not become an expert, however many hours accumulate. Research across domains ranging from medicine to chess has repeatedly found that simple accumulated experience, years spent performing a task, correlates surprisingly weakly with actual performance improvement once initial learning has occurred, unless that experience is structured through deliberate practice principles. Experienced physicians, for instance, do not reliably outperform less experienced physicians on diagnostic accuracy measures unless their ongoing practice includes structured feedback about diagnostic errors. This finding challenges the common assumption that mere years of experience straightforwardly translate into expertise. Cognitive research on expertise consistently finds that experts do not simply possess more raw working memory capacity or general intelligence than novices. They possess dramatically more richly organized, deeply chunked domain-specific knowledge structures, allowing them to rapidly recognize meaningful patterns and retrieve relevant strategies that would require novices extensive conscious deliberation to work through step by step. A chess grandmaster does not calculate more possible moves than a novice. They recognize meaningful board configurations instantly, drawing on tens of thousands of stored patterns accumulated through years of deliberate study. Beyond pattern recognition, experts develop sophisticated mental models of their domain that allow them to anticipate likely future states, detect subtle anomalies that violate expected patterns, and monitor their own performance for errors with far greater sensitivity than novices, who often lack the underlying model needed to even recognize that something has gone wrong. This is why expert radiologists can detect a subtle tumor that appears unremarkable to an untrained eye, and why expert pilots notice a barely perceptible deviation in instrument readings that a novice would not register as meaningful at all. Malcolm Gladwell's popular book Outliers introduced the 10,000-hour figure to a mass audience, but in doing so substantially oversimplified Ericsson's original, more nuanced research, presenting raw practice hours as the key causal variable while largely omitting Ericsson's central emphasis on the specific, effortful, feedback-driven quality of deliberate practice that actually drives skill improvement. Ericsson himself publicly objected to this oversimplification, noting that the actual hours required to reach expert performance vary enormously across domains and individuals, and that quality of practice matters more than reaching any specific hour threshold. An influential 2014 meta-analysis by Brooke McNamara and colleagues found that deliberate practice explained a statistically significant but only moderate portion of variance in expert performance across multiple domains, roughly 26% in games like chess, 21% in music, and considerably less in some other domains, with substantial remaining variance attributable to factors including starting ability, age of beginning practice, and other individual differences. This does not refute deliberate practice's genuine importance, but it does refute the strongest popularized claim that virtually anyone can become a world-class expert purely through sufficient deliberate practice alone. Genuine expertise requires more than raw hours. It requires the specific, effortful, feedback-rich structure of deliberate practice, combined with individual differences in starting ability and opportunity that the popularized 10,000-hour narrative largely leaves out. Understanding what actually separates experts from experienced non-experts offers a far more accurate and ultimately more useful roadmap for anyone seeking genuine skill development.